Hello, and yes, we are back. We're back. I'm back. You're back. We are back together again. The Wonder Team. Took a little bit of a hiatus with these, mainly because the schedule of streaming, working, and then doing these on Wednesday after 10-hour shift was pretty much killing me. So I've decided not to do that anymore. From now on, we're going to do this on Thursday. Why? Because it's my day off, and she's already here, so that way we can have two people. Yay. So, you know, a little in-house maintenance for one. She's going to become my permanent co-host, because why not? You know, we might as well do that thing. It'd make it a little easier on both of us, because for one, it's easier than me just talking to myself. Although, you know, it's the only way I guarantee myself a useful conversation. Still, I should probably have other people here. Hi! So, yes, I'm Dan. That's Lil T. We're going to talk about some stuff that came out this week, and not a whole lot as far as comics go, because it's like the first week of the month. So just a few things, but we do have quite a bit of like toys that came out this week. So might as well just start on that, huh? Okay. Alright. Oh, we can go Transformers first?
Yep,
okay.
We're going to go Transformers first,
so
because that's the easiest to grab.
Transformers has now turned into what they're calling the Power of the Primes, I believe is what it's called. So yes. They go through like these little like subtitle things that they do. Last time we got like our little version of like the Headmasters. These guys are going to be the Power of the Primes. So we got Dreadwind, Slug, I think Swoop. Yep, Swoop and Jazz. These things are pretty cool. $20 a piece they'll kind of cost you, but I mean with Transformers, like, come on, man, you're getting two toys in one. It's like it's definitely worth the $10 a piece as far as like $10 per toy in my opinion. But you know, spend your money the way you want. But they are perfect, like the perfect little gift for people. And newest wave, man, newest wave. So get on that. And it's got the Slug, who's like the Triceratops guy, because I guess they're doing all the Dinobots. Allegedly in this line, oh geez, what's his name? Grimlock is going to be one of the bigger class, like the bigger like Voyager class guys. So he's going to be huge, and we'll have him soon. So like I said, $20 a piece. They are brand new this week. So if you haven't gotten yours, stop on by. We got them. We got them. We got this.
Yeah.
Go this way. We'll go this way.
Go in that direction.
All right.
Going with the next small one.
So this thing we got, it came out a while ago, but we took this off with somebody in trade, and I just really like it, so I wanted to show it off. It's the SH Figuarts, because, you know, we don't mention SH Figuarts at all in this show. SH Figuarts, Rocket, and little tiny Groot, little baby, smaller, dumber Groot, as Drax would call him. Out of the way, smaller, dumber Groot.
I love that line.
So I believe it was a Tamashii Nations exclusive because it comes in the box. Typically they have a window if it's a regular release. So it's a perfect opportunity to get a superposable Rocket Raccoon along with little tiny dumber smaller Groot, or super cute Groot, whichever way you want to call it. But you can add them to your Guardians of the Galaxy collection for $60. Get it. I'm having a stroke over here. So yes, SH Figuarts, the best figures that we have, according to this guy's opinion. In my opinion, matters.
Sure.
DC Icons. Unfortunately, we are now laying DC Icons as a line of toys to rest. This was like their last big release. What is this, you ask? It is the Superman vs. Doomsday 2-pack. It is the Death of Superman. So as you can see, you can set him up in the classic pose with the cape flapping in the breeze, reenact one of the most iconic and depressing moments in comic book history when they decided to kill off Superman. But I can tell you, this set's really cool. It's superposable. It comes with like the little base on the bottom too that you can use with other figures. But I love like the eye blasts that come out of Superman as well. It's really cool. It is about $75. You are paying for it, but it is worth it in my opinion. And like I said, you can use like the effects for other figures, which would be really cool. I have a feeling like the laser effect can probably, you know, you could do some rigging and put it on like Supergirl and stuff if you want to, or General Zod if you have a General Zod figure, even though they haven't done one in forever. But yeah, 2-pack, 75 bones. It is the end of the DC Icons. Fairly well, DC Icons. We enjoyed your figures while they lasted. My friend Steven is now depressed because you decided to cancel it. Boo on you, DC.
I didn't realize that has a slip cover and there's art underneath it.
Yeah, I don't really get that though.
I don't get it either,
you
but
know,
it does not come off easy.
No, and that's the thing. And so you guys made a slip cover that like doesn't. It's like almost impossible to remove.
There it is.
Because it gets caught on the other thing, and all it is just showing more rocks.
There's the cape on this side, but it's being covered by the little slip thing.
In my hand. So it's kind of, I know it's like, that's the cover of that issue. It's like the classic cover. But, I mean, I have a feeling the reason that it's $75 and not like $65 is because of the stupid slipcase. Which is like impossible to get on and off without like tearing stuff.
Just put it on the side.
So, fix that tomorrow. SH Monster Arts. We get some questions about this stuff every now and again. We used to carry it quite a bit, but the problem is that they're expensive to stock and people just weren't into them for a while. But recently we've had a kind of uptick in this, so we decided to start stocking the Godzillas again. This is the how do you pronounce that? Orai? Yeah, Orai Noriyoshi poster version. So from what I understand, this is like the one directly from one of the movie posters. Really posable, super awesome as far as Godzilla stuff goes. You cannot get a better figure. From Bandai, so you know it's quality. $74.99, it'll set you back, but it is well worth it. As far as so you can get that, and then for another $75, you could get the Death of Superman 2-pack, and you can make them fight. How much fun would that be? That's what I'm saying. Be shooting lasers and stuff like.
That is a movie I didn't know that I wanted.
Merry Christmas.
Okay.
So yeah, $75. SH Monster Arts Godzilla. This came out last week, but as you know, I went on a little bit of a hiatus and went to find myself. The Harley Quinn 25th anniversary PVC diorama. It is the reenactment of her wrapping up Batman in a bow and basically trying to gift him to Mr. J. So, cool little PVC figure. It is the deluxe version, so I think these things set back right around $60. Yeah, $60, but I mean, it's a great little statue for $60, to be honest with you. And especially if you're a fan of the animated series stuff, that is the way to go. It is really cool, and one of my more favorite ones. Like I said, it came out last week, but we didn't do a show last week, but I wanted to show it off because I thought it was sweet.
I like it. I think it's one of my favorites so far.
Yeah, as far as the gallery stuff goes, I love the gallery stuff. They do a really nice job. You ain't got to worry about it breaking, because it's more plastic. But this guy's got some weight to it, because it's got a base.
Yeah.
So, it's all about that base.
And the rest of them are all, like, thinner characters, and then you've got two characters, and let's be honest.
I'm trying to say
Batman's a little bulky.
Saying Batman's
fat. I wasn't saying he's fat. I'm saying he's got a lot of muscles.
Saying he's a little fat?
No.
Saying Harley's fat?
No.
Oh, okay, then.
I'm saying that... Did you know muscle weighs more than fat?
Who's fat in this scenario here? I don't understand. Well, thanks a lot. Appreciate that.
I'm sorry.
Grant you a permanent co-host position, and what do? Get called fat on my own show. That's a good time. Merry Christmas to all. This will be the last episode of the Warp 9 Roundup, because I'm going to go home and drown myself into some ice cream. Cookie dough ice cream. My suicide note will be addressed to you. Anyway, moving on to more festive stuff. We've had this for a little while, but we got it from San Diego Comic-Con, and a lot of times, we will take it, put it in the back, and wait for it to ripen and mature. Because otherwise we're selling it for the same thing we paid for, and that's kind of dumb. I mean, we're not making much money off of this. We're really only making like $40. But it is the, we've showed these before, the movie Realization, like Bandai. It's the Star Wars reimagining into like samurai stuff. This is the Boba Fett, but it's the white prototype armor Boba Fett. These figures are absolutely fantastic. The only major problem with these figures is that they are way too bootlegged. Whoever is making them for Bandai over in China does not give a crap, and they've been funneling these things out of the back door for way too long. You can go on eBay and find them for like $25. But, you keep doing that. That's how they don't make figures anymore. But this one will set you back right around $145. That's right around retail. Originally they went for like $110, I think. But they have since matured and ripened. Much like me over the past 15 minutes when I found out I was fat. So yes, the prototype armor Boba Fett. Boba Fett is dope. It comes with guns, knives. He's got like throwing stuff, a bunch of different hands. So really, really, really cool. Loving this guy. And it's San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. Can't go wrong with that. Last but not least, because we got Star Wars next week. Star Wars? I know. Holy crap, I just realized. I don't know how the hell we're going to do the show next week on Thursday.
I have no
I got to go to Star Wars. Yeah, I guess you might be doing it by yourself. So anyway, the Executioner Trooper, he is going to be new. As far as we know, he's going to make an appearance in the new Star Wars movie, The Last Jedi. Who was the Last Jedi? Maybe it's me. Maybe it's Lil T. You don't know. We haven't seen the movie yet. These things, once again, it's a hot toy, man. They don't get much better than this. And as far as like his cool little stick thing, you know, I'm interested to see what happened with that. I hope he's not like cutting heads off because it's supposed to be a PG-13 movie. So I guess we'll have to see.
They don't cut heads off in PG-13 movies?
No, I don't think they're really supposed to when it's a Disney movie.
I should probably rewrite my script for my PG-13 movie then.
Yeah. Basically, her movie is just calling a bunch of people fat until they address their suicide notes to them and then kill themselves. So it's a great movie. It's based on
You're never gonna let me live that down.
Based on actual events. So yes, these guys, these will set you back. You know, obviously, Hot Toys are about $200. This one's about $205. Usually they run almost a little bit higher, so this one's actually a little bit cheaper than normal. Typically they're right around the $225, $230 range. So it's probably because they probably use the same mold for quite a bit, and it's just a different paint because this is the first Trooper. It's got like the black stripe up top there. That you know, just in case anyone gets confused, that we're like, hey, is that Steve? No. Steve's the guy who likes to chop people's heads off. You can tell by the black stripe on his head. Because obviously, you know, they all look exactly the same. All Stormtroopers. They all look the same. Just saying. With your weird barcode names and whatnot. So yes, $205, but it is like one of the nicest things you will ever get. And you won't need another Executioner Trooper for as long as you shall live. So, want to talk about some comics?
Sure.
Okay. What do you want to start with? Start with some Marvel?
Sure.
Because you're wearing a Marvel shirt?
Yeah, I am.
All right. Let's do this. For a second there, I thought it was like a Christmas sweater.
No, it's just Marvel.
Not yet. Just Marvel. So, we're starting with Venom Ink. Venom Ink. It is the beginning of the Venom and Amazing Spider-Man crossover. In this little guy, basically what's happening is, you know, Eddie Brock has gotten the suit back. It's one of the things they've been doing for, like, Marvel Legacy is to give Brock the suit back because people have been calling for it. This is kind of taken sideways. Throughout the Marvel Universe, I thought it was the Elseworlds thing at first. It was a little confusing because one of these little other Venom minions ends up getting attacked and she gets her symbiote stolen. And essentially this whole thing is all about symbiotes, or people with symbiotes are getting attacked and getting their symbiotes taken. And then there's like this big twist between Flash and Flash, who had the symbiote previously from Eddie Brock. Eddie Brock and the symbiote have almost like a weird love triangle thing going on. It's a little strange, but it kind of makes sense, especially if you're fans of Venom and whatnot. And then there's kind of a big ending reveal thing. So if you are a fan of Venom, it's definitely more of the same, more like, okay, this is going to be really cool, especially because we're going to see a lot of different Venom things. My only problem is that we just saw a lot of this in, like, Edge of Venomverse and then, like, the regular Venomverse thing, you know? So, because we had Edge of Venomverse, then we had the Venomverse crossover where all these people all had symbiotes and they were doing all sorts of crazy art. And it looks cool and everything, but there's not much substance there. So I'm hoping that with this being a crossover between, like, just the regular books, not so much everyone just going out and just having fun. Don't get me wrong, comics are supposed to be fun. But, you know, I'm hoping we get a little bit more substance. We haven't had, like, a really good Eddie Brock versus Peter Parker kind of dust up in quite a while. So, but this is a one-shot first, and then we're going to go into Amazing Spider-Man, then Venom, Amazing Spider-Man, Venom. And I think it just goes on for a month. I think it goes back and forth maybe 3 times. Okay. So, probably give the Devil's due, though. Written by Dan Slott and Mike Costa. The artist is Troy's own Ryan Stegman, who has actually shopped here before. We like Ryan. Call me. Colors, Brian Rebar and Joe Caramagna did the lettering. So, the cover was by Mr. Ryan Stegman. So, if you like the book, make sure you tell Ryan Stegman on Twitter because he gets sad sometimes. Maybe it's because Lil T called him fat. Who knows?
You were the only person I've ever called fat.
Anyway, we can blur that out in post. So, Black Bolt. Why am I doing Black Bolt? Well, I love this book, for one. For two, one of the guys who's involved in creating it lives in Dearborn. We're sticking with Michigan this week. This is part one. Throughout the first story arc, the new Black Bolt trade paperback that collected the first story arc actually came out this week. The first story arc was basically Black Bolt was stuck in this intergalactic prison because his brother Maximus had switched places with him when they were supposed to send Maximus to this prison. And it turns out the prison was like kind of a torturous hellhole. So he's now broke out of that, and he's coming back to Earth. And he's got this little girl in tow, much like I do. He's got this little girl in tow that he's bringing back to the Inhumans as well. And he's kind of stepped foot in, he's missed all the Secret Empire stuff. So the Inhumans are a little leery of him. So it kind of goes from there. It's really, really cool. The artwork is super out there. But it fits very, very well. And it just kind of goes from there. Plus Lockjaw, obviously. And what book doesn't need 20% more Lockjaw? That's all I gotta say.
I love Lockjaw.
So it's a good jumping on point. You don't have to read the first story arc to kind of know what's going on. They do have like a recap thing there. But this is part 1. Good way to jump on for sure. Probably give the devil his due here, huh? Written by Saladin Ahmed, artist and cover artist Christian Ward, and he did everything, colors and all sorts of stuff. Letters Clayton Cowles. So Black Bolt number 8, check it out if you've ever been interested in Black Bolt stuff, and you want to get away from what I hear is the terrible, the terrible Inhumans television show. So, you got something to say? Tell the people what you feel. Whoop.
I'm allowed to talk today. Yeah. Okay, well, probably not surprised, but I picked out Hawkeye this week. Mostly because, as you may know, I am in love with Hawkeye, but this is the part 1 to the family reunion storyline, in which I think would be a perfect jumping on point if you have not started with this, or you didn't want to read it because you were like not sure if you wanted to read a Hawkeye book without Clint, because he has come back. He is helping Kate with her mission to kind of figure out what happened with her family.
Her family's like a bunch of criminals now, which is kind of weird.
Yeah. I mean, makes sense.
It's
Aren't all parents evil?
One thing I've noticed is that they're bringing back like the dynamic that they had in the Fraction run, which is kind of funny because I just got like the Fraction run hardcover last week, and I've been looking through that again, and it was kind of cool that I just was reading that, and then I read this week, and it was like I was like, okay, yeah, they're definitely trying to bring back the old like dynamic between the two Hawkeyes. Obviously you have Kate Bishop, who's an excellent Hawkeye. And then Clint Martin, who's an excellent Hawkeye as well, but he also tends to screw a lot of things up. And then you got Pizza Dog, who's, the best out of the three. So.
I love Lucky.
Lucky the Pizza Dog.
I feel like this one's just, like, it's a perfect jumping on point. The dynamic between the two is great. It also, if you read Generations, The Archers, kind of jumps off from there.
It was a callback to that, which I thought was interesting, because nobody else has done any of the callback generation stuff. They were the only ones, which I thought was definitely cool.
Yeah, and I
that's a good
really
idea.
liked that.
Yeah, really good idea.
But yeah, Give
the devil's
I'm not very good at reading names, so you
Hand
can
it
do
over.
that.
I don't know where the names are.
Down here.
Oh, geez, what the
Person
hell?
of
That's a
interest.
checklist. Yeah, that's awesome.
Person of interest.
Written by Kelly Thompson. Artist is Leonardo Romero. Color artist is the incomparable and hardest working colorist in the business, Jordi Belair. And a letterer is Joe Sabino. I would, designer Amanda Medeiros. Designing what? The cover? That's cool. Okay. Yeah, good for you. Yeah, great cover. Great cover.
I love it.
Yeah, I like the mugshot. She's the one all beat up this time. Where if you're a fan of the old Hawkeye books, he's got a penchant for getting punched in the face a lot
and falling into dumpsters.
He's
actually
like the
being
most
thrown
punchable
into
vendor.
dumpsters.
So, jumping in the DC, first and foremost, one of the biggest changes this week in the DC universe is look at this stuff over here. So it's almost like a banner, and not like a banner going across. I mean, like go to war banner, is what it very much looks like. And most of the books now all have like their own little logos in the bottom here. So this one has like the movie Justice League logo. Batman's got the bat symbol for obvious reasons. Really cool. They dropped the Rebirth moniker. So we're done with the Rebirth, which is like, come on, man. How many times can you rebirth? You know what I mean? It's been like almost 2 years. It's time to move on. Your kid's getting older. So the first thing I kind of noticed was that dropping the banner definitely opened up the cover more. It doesn't seem like things are so kind of blocked off. It's a simple thing, I know, but it really I really feel that way. That before, now that we're missing this banner, we're getting more, and it seems like the cover's a little bit brighter, which is great. So I was really happy about that. One thing I was not happy about, though, is they decided to do away with the Part 1 and storyline thing now. Like on Justice League this week, it's the beginning of a new story arc, and there's nothing in there that says Part 1. It's a little disappointing. I really liked when they were doing that. It makes things on the retail end a lot easier for us to be able to try to get people to jump on without having to grab books and flip through them and try to figure out where everything's at. Because, we try to keep track as much as we can, but eventually we're going to have to open the book to see where it is, and it kind of makes us look a little stupid, and not everybody reads all of your books, guys. So as much as I try to read as much as humanly possible, but, not everybody here has that kind of time. So it's like, and I know in other stores, they don't even allow the employees to read all the books. You would have to buy them because they're cheap Scrooge's bastards. We don't do that here. Trey's like, read the books. I don't care, because he's a good guy. But anyway, so it's a big change. Obviously, going into 2018, they wanted to do something different, and I love the new logo in the top corner. I think it's bold. It's a nice step. It looks great. But this is the first thing, the DC Holiday Special. Normally, I kind of ignore these things, but this one was absolutely excellent. Lots of 2 and 3 page stories from Tom King and Josh Williamson. Basically, everybody who's on the main books right now all did kind of a story in this, and they're all very good. I love Tom King's storyline because, come on, it's Tom King. He's been killing it, and there's a Flash storyline. Constantine even makes an appearance. There's a cool little storyline, Superman storyline in the beginning, and then it does a callback in the end with Superman and was it Bibbo? Bibbo's this old 90s Bibowski. He's this old 90s character that was Superman's buddy, and he runs a local tavern. And it's funny because we showed the DC Icons Death of Superman thing. Yeah. He makes an appearance throughout that entire storyline, which was interesting. So this is a fun little one. There's even a Sergeant Rock storyline in here that was written by, that's one by Tom King and Francesco Francavilla. Really, really cool and a little bit heartbreaking too, as far as a guy in World War II and he's bleeding out while trying to keep his Nazi prisoner. It's great. And then obviously you got a nice little Flash storyline. The Flash storyline is really cute, where he ends up at an airport with all these people who are stranded, and then he has the great idea of you know what, I'm gonna run all these guys home. So he's does Flash stuff. It's a totally Barry Allen thing to do. So if you're looking to get some of the Christmas joy, if you're tired of people calling you fat and ruining your holiday, just make sure to get yourself a DC Holiday Special, because honestly, it's gonna make you feel better about your weight.
You're not fat, right? That's was right. A joke.
I'm big boned. Justice League. Okay, why is it Justice League? First off, it's going to be the first part of the Christopher Priest run. This is a really big deal, in my opinion. For a while there, people were coming in here, especially after Bendis went to DC. People were like, "Oh, great! They'll get Hitch off of Justice League, and Bendis will write Justice League." And I'm like, "Well, Priest is about to write Justice League." And immediately people were like, "Oh my God, really? That's going to be awesome!" It's like, well, it was announced several months ago. So if you've been reading the Deathstroke book, it's from the same writer. Christopher Priest has a very distinct way of blocking his stuff and the way he tells his stories. This is a fantastic start to this, because it talks about Batman being fallible and running himself too thin. So when he runs himself too thin, bad things can happen, and it's how he deals with that as a leader, because Batman is very much about trying to be the guy. He wants to be the leader. He's a tactician. So did you read this?
Yes, I did.
What do you think?
I actually really enjoyed this one. Like you said, I really like the whole seeing as he's human, the human side of him just kind of running himself down.
It kind of picks up where he's already been up for 2 days, and then they've got 3 different Justice League things going on. Is it 3 days, something like that?
I think so. Yeah, because he talks about sleeping in the car for half an hour.
He's like, I slept in the car while it was driving me home, because he's rich. It's apparently a superpower according to the movies. So great jumping on point for the Justice League, and even the next part is all basically talking about how it's going to be the breakdown of the Batman. So it goes really well as far as like with the metal stuff too. But Justice League has always taken place on a different side of like the DC universe. Like they don't include the Justice League in all the big events anymore because they're already included in their own books. So why do you need another book to include all that stuff, you know? So it's nice to see like we're gonna get a separate Justice League story, which I'm really glad that they do that. They've been doing that since like the New 52, and it's it's good stuff. Look on the back of this thing.
I know. I've been looking at it. I love it.
There's a lot of obviously if you've been paying attention to like comic book news, there's a lot of happy stuff going around, and that was a Grant Morrison title with Derek Robertson. That was great, and now it's gonna be a show on Sci-Fi, and like they're pimping that thing big time in the back of DC Comics. You cannot get away from the advertisement, man. They're on everything, every issue.
It's coming out on Friday. Nope.
So one of the big hits
Saturday.
of I want to say about a year ago. I thought it was today. Okay.
No, it says the 9th. Nope. I have no clue what that says.
2 days. Okay. You have no idea what this is?
Maybe it's.
It says Wednesday. It was yesterday.
Wednesday was yesterday.
New comic book day. Come on now. New comic book day. So anyway, one of the bigger hits, and I wouldn't even really call it a sleeper hit because it really wasn't. It was just a great hit. Was the Batman Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles crossover, where the Turtles ended up in Gotham and vice versa and stuff. And so the Batman knows who the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are, and which is absolutely just sweet. Let's just put it that way.
It's just great.
It's really cool. So this is just they found the right formula, and they're like, you know what we should do? We should do it again. So Batman versus the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Part Dos. It is the first issue. Don't worry about reading the other one. All you need to know is that Batman knows about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and you can go from there. It's absolutely fantastic. I'm forgetting who wrote it. I know Williamson, I think, wrote the other one. Where's the stuff? Where's the title? There it is. Okay. James Tynion IV. Yeah, he's one of my favorite writers. He's also writing Detective Comics. So James Tynion IV wrote it, and art's done by Freddie Williams II. So there's a lot of multiple names going on there. So yeah, if you're a fan of the Turtles, obviously, it's a must read because the Turtle stuff has been great. I mean, it's been great for a long time. But it looks like Bane's going to be the big baddie, which I'm a big fan of Bane for this one, and I'm a big fan of Bane and all this stuff. That's why when Tom King started writing Batman, they were going to have the I Am Bane storyline. I was like, yes. The only thing I don't like though is the current Bane book that's on his own, the Bane Conquest. That's just never really hooked me, unfortunately. So, Did you read this one?
No, I didn't get a chance to read this one.
Check it out if you get a chance.
I like the art.
So, with we're starting to wrap it up here. We got a few more things, but one of the big things that's been going on in comics is obviously we got lenticular covers and holographic covers, and like Youngblood is back, and it's feeling like the 90s all over again. And the funny thing about that is it totally feels that way because Witchblade is back. Witchblade was a big deal back in the day, man. It was a Mark Silvestri thing. Mark Silvestri or Michael Turner? Yeah, one of the two. It was a big Image thing, and it was huge for a long time, and then it just kind of fizzled out and went away. But it's back with a new #1, and it's starting to drop. It seems like they're going to do a little bit of retelling of the origin and maybe not have it so convoluted. I really liked it, to be honest with you. Most people know I won't talk about stuff on this show unless I read it and actually enjoyed it. It's a good little jumping on point, even if you're just curious about what it was in the past. I think it may be a little... I don't know. It might just be too late for some of these old Image properties because they've tried to bring back Youngblood and nobody really cared, to be honest with you. I think we only order like 4 copies of that book now. I just hope that this isn't the same thing. I haven't checked with the boss man to see how this has been selling yet. I don't know if he's looked at the numbers yet. But it's we're going to have to see. I mean, it's good so far, but we got to see how it's going to go going forward. So it's like I said, you don't need to know about any of the other stuff or the previous 200 issues of Witchblade to jump into this. You can jump into it right away, and it's easy peasy.
In that case, I think I'm gonna have to read it because that's why I didn't read it in the first place.
Yeah, the writer is Caitlin Kittredge, artist Roberta Ingranata, and Brian Valenza did the colors on it. So it's nice to see an all female team on this besides like the colorist and stuff. So it's good to see women writing women for a change.
Seriously?
Pull a bunch of 50-year-old old dudes with receding hairlines writing about women problems. That's probably not the greatest thing as far as for your gender, huh? Why don't you write more comics?
I actually would like to,
right.
if I could draw, or if I could get a friend that would draw them for me.
Dude, I know people who draw.
Oh, is it my turn?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you want to hold up the other cover, because there's 2 covers for this one. Sleepless.
Not in Seattle.
No, not in Seattle. This was a new Image comic this week. How do I start with this one? It was really interesting. Kind of takes place in this almost medieval-esque kind of time period.
Yeah, it's a little bit more fantasy-based.
Yeah.
For sure.
In which the illegitimate child of the former king is basically being targeted after the new king takes reign. Not a lot has been kind of given in this except for...
the groundwork.
Yeah, except for, who she is, who, the guard is with her, he's a sleepless knight.
Yeah, straight up does not sleep.
Yeah, doesn't
They take
at all.
some sort of magic potion or something to where they no longer sleep. And it's mainly taken by the knights who are higher up, that are the bodyguards or the body doubles of the royal family. They haven't gone into it yet, but I'm assuming it's a potion of some kind or a magic spell. But they straight up look exhausted.
Oh my god, seriously.
So I'm interested to see if, for one, the art really translates that quite a bit. How tired he looks, but he's still, an excellent bodyguard. So I'm interested to see if they're going to explore that more and see if maybe they talk about, a sleepless doesn't live that long because his body can't take it for being awake all that time, So I'm interested to see if they delve into that. There's definitely some, magical aspects to it. And then, like you said, the funny thing is that she's being targeted for being an illegitimate child, but she has no claim to the throne.
Yeah.
Because they've already dubbed the new king. She, bent the knee to this guy and has no desire to be a ruler. But, come on, let's face it. We all know what's going to happen. She's going to end up in some sort of ruling capacity, some way, shape, or form, we think. That's why someone's trying to kill her. So
yeah. I will say one of the things that kind of drew me to this book was the art.
Yeah,
it's
fantastic.
Very pretty, and then on top of it, the
little fox.
Well, the fox is adorable too, the little Finnick fox, but the art of the clothing they wear is just so accurate, time period wise, and it's so pretty.
The coloring's really cool too. It's very
gorgeous.
It's very muted, a lot of muted colors, which it definitely it fits the book very, very well. As far as even from the cover to the interior, it's the color palette is very much the same going through. Written by Sarah Vaughn. The artist is Lila Del Duca, and the editor and colorist is Alyssa Sala. Letters by Duran Bennett. Really great stuff. It's a new #1. A lot of times the fantasy stuff doesn't sell real well for us right away, but we'll have to see going forward. You just never know nowadays. But it's a it's a new #1. It's a new creator-owned property, man. Come on, people, spend your bucks.
Yeah.
Spend your bucks on something new. Give it a try.
And honestly, it gives you just enough information to kind of hook you into it.
We can only do so much. I'm only one Dan. I'm only one Dan.
I'm only one Tristan.
Only one Lil T. Only one. She's a Lil T, so she's a half person. All that means is to try harder.
Okay.
Yeah. Sure.
So
Grant Morrison came up with this thing a long time ago called Klaus. I don't know if it's Klaus or Klaus, whatever. It's the same thing. It was all about the more traditional telling of Santa Claus, from the old text, the Sanscripts. This is just a one shot. It's Klaus and the crisis in Xmasville, not Christmasville, Xmasville. So it's just all about this evil man who wants Christmas all year long because he's the owner of an evil Christmas empire, and he wants everyone to call it Xmas, that way it can be all year long, and he has zombie Santas. It's ridiculous. But we get our hero, the original Klaus, who goes into it, and he comes out, and Rex Shop ends up being the hero and stuff. it's a great little Christmas book for, you know, people who don't want, like, the traditional, like, squeaky clean Santa. This is more like if Santa was in Game of Thrones.
This is awesome!
Yeah, it's brutal, man.
Oh my god.
So he ends up fighting a different version of himself from a different reality who can change into, like, a werewolf. Like, dude, it's out of hand. It's super out of hand, but it was really popular. And unfortunately, it's a $7.99 book, which is freaking crazy to me, doing a one-shot for that much money, but whatever. But people seem to be enjoying it. There's a lot of people who picked it up, and I can tell you it's pretty great, you know. So it's written by Grant Morrison, but it's more of one of his linear focused things, and the art's done by Dan Mora. So absolutely fantastic. It's really, really fun, and it's perfect for the holiday season, even though it's like 10 degrees outside right now.
Oh.
Last but not least, we have one more. Take it away. Paradiso.
It's a weird title to pronounce. I couldn't pronounce it all day.
I don't know, because like they always like pronounce it in the book as like Diso or Diso.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's Paradiso. I would imagine it's Paradiso.
I think it's Paradiso.
Paradise. Oh, you know, like that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
This book is super cool though.
Yeah, it is.
Post-apocalyptic stuff.
Again, one of the things that immediately draws you to it is the art on the inside has this like very gritty kind of look, but the coloring in it is so, like, I don't know how to describe it. It's just really cool. This is a man by the name of Jack that they call Runaway Jack is trying to make it into Paradiso. He was, what is the word?
He was a tinker's apprentice.
Apprentice, yeah. He was a tinker's apprentice, which apparently, so far we know that a tinker is, like, really important and not really
they're like handymen.
Around.
They're like handymen, like people who can still engineer things and make technology work. Because technology is kind of a big no-no in this post-apocalyptic. It seems like they're hinting at somebody's hoarding technology and not allowing other people to have it. So these tinkers and then the tinker's apprentices, they have stuff like schematics and they know how to fix things. So they're very much in demand. And where we start off in this beginning is this tinker's apprentice is trying to get into Paradiso. He has a tinker's apprentice book that he's willing to trade that has all the schematics and things, and people are like, holy crap, it's like a holy grail. He's like, I don't need it because I memorized all that stuff because I'm an apprentice. Yo, what's up? So he hitches a ride, and then they try to get into Paradiso where they get attacked by what seems like a couple of cybernetic humans.
That are really cool looking.
Really cool looking and very brutal. They seem to be somewhat assassins. One of them doesn't speak at all. The other one kind of talks to himself quite a bit while talking to his partner too. It's an epic, man. There's a lot going on in the first story arc, and it definitely makes you want to know what's coming next for sure. So.
I definitely want to figure out why there aren't more tinkers. That's my first question.
Well, one of the big scenes that kind of happens when they get attacked is one of the Cybermen. I'm just going to call them the Cybermen for now. I'm sure they have a name for them. But he even mentions, like, you know, get all the tools, get all the pieces, because like they're. Like anything in Paradiso is like that stuff's like outlawed. They don't allow it in. They don't allow it out. You know.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see what happens when he gets where he's going. If they have these watchdogs outside of the city to make sure nobody gets in, well, what happens to the people who are in there? Are they just on the run all the time? Because who the hell would want to go there? You know. Where it's like, oh, come to the city where you're just hunted 24/7. You know, you like feeling like a piece of game? Come visit Paradiso. So.
I feel like it shouldn't be called Paradise. Oh.
Right. So it's cool. It's got a Mad Max vibe to it for sure.
That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, it's got a big Mad Max vibe to it. It even has like a young woman telling stories of the previous, you know, generation that was there and some of the things they used to do, and all the kids are like, "What? That's crazy!" You know, it's like. It's basically what I'm going to be telling, you know, kids when I'm like 80 years old. And we used to have toilets that flush, and they went like this. And kids would be like, what? I'm going to poop in this bucket? I'm be like, yeah, it was great back then. Anyway, eat your vanilla paste. It's nutritious.
Why did I agree to this?
That's my future. That's my future.
Of course it is.
Should probably give them the props, huh?
Oh, yeah. Do you want to read the names? Because I'm very bad at it.
Written by Ram V. Art by Devmelia Pramanik.
I would have.
Colors by Deirbla Kelly and Alex Salazzo. Boy, man, you guys are really just stretching it with these names nowadays. Good lord.
Why do you think I won't read them?
I'll start calling you all Bob. Anyway, though, that is your Warp 9 roundup this week. It is the first time us doing Thursdays. We're going to try to make this a regular thing, but as I just figured out for myself that next week is Star Wars Thursday, so we might have to do it on a Friday, and maybe I'll go back to Wednesday for a day.
Unless we want to come in really early in the morning and do it in the morning. Yeah.
We might be able to do that. I might be able to do that. It only takes about half an hour.
It doesn't take too long.
Yeah,
probably do it before shop opens.
That's not a bad idea. We'll work through that. Maybe Dan will get off his lazy ass on a Thursday and come.
Just keep an eye on Instagram because he will post
it
when,
on there.
when
At
it will
Warp
be
9
up.
Comics. So anyway, that is your weekly Warp 9 wrap up for Thursday. The week of 12/6 is the release week. I guess we'll go with that date.
Yeah,
than anything else,
that was the Wednesday.
Cool. But yeah, not bad for the first time. You know, we're gonna get into our rhythm here, and now that we're back, I'm gonna try to stream some games this weekend too. Maybe some Injustice 2 because I've been loving that stuff. So yeah, any questions? You can always email me at Extra Secret Gaming. Otherwise, you can follow along at Extra Secret Podcast. That's another podcast I do with E.A. Henson that talks a little bit about comics, video games, and whatnot. You can always subscribe to us. You can also subscribe or hit follow on Twitch where we do it live. Otherwise, this will be up on YouTube probably tomorrow night because I started loading while I'm working and all that jazz. So, other than that, though, thanks for hanging out.
Bye,
And,
guys.
we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.